always humble, survive or stumble, the streets don't fumble. Brick by brick, they build the facade, but beneath the mask it's just dirt and fraud. Gunpowder breath, exhale the struggle, life's a tightrope, every step's a juggle. Hunger in the stomach, louder than the sirens, dreams turn violent, eyes like a tyrant, blood in the cracks, stories in the gravel. This ain't a game, no kings, just Scrabble. City screams, I hear the call, rise or fall, there's no curtain call. Voices echo through the alley spine. This is my world, my crooked shrine. My crooked shrine. My crooked shrine. My crooked shrine. Dream jump. Dream jump.
Thought Navigation Online, welcome. This is No One Thought. I'm Thought Navigation Online, and this is Digital Frontline, show segment part 1. Take a breath for a second. Because today's conversation isn't comfortable, it isn't flashy, and it isn't exaggerated. It's about truth, and truth usually doesn't knock politely. Tonight, we're talking about crime and corruption in the 21st century. Not the kind that feels far away, not the kind that lives in documentaries or foreign headlines, but the kind that's quietly embedded right here at home. Florida, Pinellas County, Miami-Dade. These aren't rumors. These aren't conspiracy theories. Law enforcement has uncovered full-scale distribution operations, including methamphetamine farms connected to organized cartel networks operating on U.S. soil. This is not street-level chaos. This is infrastructure. What makes the modern era different isn't just the drugs, it's the systems. Encrypted communication, decentralized logistics, digital money trails designed to disappear. Cartels today don't just move product. They move information. They exploit borders, loopholes, and silence. And here's the part no one likes to say out loud. These operations survive not only because of fear, but because of apathy. Because when crime looks organized, quiet, and profitable, it blends in. That's the front line now, not a battlefield, a bandwidth. This is why Digital Frontline matters, because corruption in the 21st century doesn't announce itself. It integrates. Now, before we continue, we're going to pause, not to lighten the topic, but to support the people who help keep this show independent. Sponsor break, Air Cannabis. All right, let's shift gears for just a moment. This episode is sponsored by Air Cannabis. And no, they didn't ask us to say anything weird, spiritual, or legally questionable, which we appreciate. Air Cannabis supports responsible use, transparency, and calm, something the world seems to be running low on lately. If you're already in a legal market, you know the deal. If you're not, we're not here to explain laws on air. Air Cannabis, clear air, clear head, no one thought. Sponsor break, Element Tree Care. This episode is also brought to you by Element Tree Care. And listen, trees don't get enough credit. They mind their business. They clean the air. They don't traffic methamphetamine. Element Tree Care focuses on professional ethical tree services, trimming, removal, preservation, the kind of work that keeps neighborhoods safe and landscapes healthy. Element Tree Care's strong roots, clean cuts, no corruption. All right, back to it. Thought Navigation Online. When we talk about cartels operating domestically, the question isn't how they got here. The question is, why did it take so long for people to notice? Because the modern criminal network doesn't look like a movie villain. It looks like a business. Warehouses, farms, delivery routes, money laundering through shell companies and digital platforms. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Technology didn't just empower citizens, it empowered criminals too. The same tools that let artists create, journalists investigate, and communities connect also allow bad actors to scale quietly. This is where corruption thrives, not in chaos, but in efficiency. Now, this podcast doesn't exist to scare you. It exists to wake you up without yelling. Awareness isn't paranoia. Paying attention isn't fear. It's responsibility. And as we continue this series, we're going to talk about enforcement, accountability, and the human cost, not just the headlines. Before we wrap this segment, a quick note for our listeners. No One Thought is now available on Spotify, where we're continuing to grow the show, the discussions, and the music side of what we do. To help support that, you'll also be hearing something different during future episodes, because William will be performing live music online.
Too bad for heaven, too good for hell, where I've been stepping, stuck in the middle where shadows dwell. Now it's time for them to pay. Oh, well. Stuck in the middle where you are safe, you are okay. Raising storms where the quiet fell, the walls of Jericho start to crumble. Feel the fire as the ground rumbles. Even a spark in the blackest night looks like a torch fully charged with fight. You are the light, you are the dark. Collide with me, we'll ignite the spark. For them to pay. Oh, well. No one thought, no one cared, but I did now. They're scared. The sky splits red, the silence breaks. Together we'll burn for what's at stake. I'm bringing heaven, I'm bringing hell, raising storms where the quiet fell. The walls of Jericho start to crumble. Feel the fire as the ground rumbles. You are the light, you are the dark. Together we'll spark, we'll leave our mark. No one thought, no one will, but here we are, heaven and no one thought. Too bad for heaven, too good for hell, where I've been stepping, stuck in the middle where shadows dwell. Now it's time for them to pay. Oh, well. I'm bringing heaven, I'm bringing hell, raising storms where the quiet fell. The walls of Jericho start to crumble. Feel the fire as the ground rumbles. No one thought, no one cared, but I did now. They're scared. The sky splits red, the silence breaks. Together we'll burn for what's at stake. I'm bringing heaven, I'm bringing hell, raising storms where the quiet fell. The walls of Jericho start to crumble. Feel the fire as the ground rumbles. You are the light, you are the dark. Together we'll spark, we'll leave a mark. No one thought, no one will, but here we are, heaven and
Silence of my thoughts presented as a seamless living. Absolutely. Here's In the Silence of My Thoughts presented as a seamless living composition. Lyrics, vocal interpretation, instrumentation, and musical notation all rolled into one artistic dialect. It's written.
Ain't got a blanket, ain't got a bed. Lost a dog that used to rest by my head. Fire took the memories, the walls and the floor. Now I'm standing where a doorway ain't a doorway no more. Half a pocket full of nothing and a night full of cold. But I still keep walking like I ain't been told. If the world's still spinning, then I guess I am too. Even if every mile tries to pull me in too. 'Cause I lost it all, yeah, lost it all. Even the little things meant to break my fall. But I ain't crying, I'm just singing it true. Level ground's the only thing I'm asking from you. Yeah, I ain't reaching for a miracle sign, just a patch of earth where the stars can lie. I've lost it all, but I'm still pushing through. Level ground's the only thing I'm asking from you.
William, what you have here is powerful. But it's also doing something very human in rehearsal. It's looping, repeating openings and endings, and restating truths because they matter. What I'll give you now is exactly what you're asking for, even if you didn't say it outright. A clean, unified final rehearsal script. No repetition. One opening, one deep medical trivia section, one closing. Seamless, slow, heartfelt, ready to be read aloud in one sitting. I am not changing your voice. I'm simply organizing the breath. Final consolidated practice reading. This is William, and this is the thought I couldn't quiet today. I used to think silence was the absence of sound. Turns out, silence is the absence of permission. Permission to be still, to be quiet, to listen, without bracing for the noise that might come next. Sound sensitivity isn't just about loudness. It's about the way a single moment, a laugh too sharp, a door slammed unintentionally, the world buzzing like it's forgotten I exist, can enter my body like a storm. Uninvited, disregarded, overwhelming. And maybe you don't hear it the way I do. Maybe your brain doesn't latch onto the whir of the refrigerator like it's a warning signal. Maybe footsteps above don't feel like they're walking through you. But for some of us, sound doesn't just exist in the air. It echoes inside. And that echo is a conversation between who we were taught to be and the nervous system that no longer accepts the script. I've spent years trying to cope with noise, white noise machines, headphones, meditation apps. I've tried breathing it out, I've tried tuning it out, but what I hadn't tried was listening in. Because sometimes what we call sensitivity is just perception that hasn't been believed. I've been told I was too sensitive, more times than I've been asked what I needed. And here's what I needed: a moment, a breath, a little space between the sound and the story I tell myself for flinching. Sensitivity isn't fragility. Sensitivity is a language. And some of us, we've been fluent since birth. We just didn't have a translator. Before I let the silence settle too comfortably, I want to sit with you a little longer, because beneath the poetry, beneath the pauses, beneath the ache, there's something important to name. Sound sensitivity isn't imagined. It isn't weakness dressed up as emotion. It's neurological. In many cases, the auditory system doesn't regulate input the way it's supposed to. The brain struggles to filter what's important from what's not, so everything arrives at once, urgent, unsorted, loud in meaning, even when it isn't loud in volume. For some, it's called hyperacusis. For others, misophonia. For many, it never gets a name at all. Just a lifetime of being told to calm down, to ignore it, to get used to it. But the nervous system doesn't learn safety through force. It learns safety through consistency, through gentleness, through being believed. Let me ask you something. Something small, but telling. As you're listening right now, do you know what the smallest bone in the human body is? The one that plays a critical role in how sound reaches the brain. Don't answer yet. Just hold the question with you. Sound sensitivity often lives alongside trauma, alongside ADHD, alongside autism, alongside anxiety that never got to rest. It's the body remembering before the mind catches up. Vigilance turned permanent. A nervous system saying, I learned once that the world could hurt me without warning, so now I listen harder. And that kind of listening changes you. It makes you notice details others miss. It makes music feel deeper. It makes silence feel like home instead of emptiness. It also makes the world exhausting. So if you need breaks, you're not lazy. If you need quiet, you're not antisocial. If you need to step away before you break, you're not failing. You're regulating. You're doing something incredibly intelligent, even if no one ever taught you the word for it. I didn't start making music to be heard. I started making it to survive, to give my nervous system something predictable, something kind, something that didn't demand anything from me. And slowly, that survival turned into expression, turned into language, turned into this space right here. A place where volume isn't power, where attention doesn't require shouting, where thoughts are allowed to arrive gently. Now, the question from earlier. The smallest bone in the human body is called the stapes. It lives in the middle ear. It helps carry sound vibrations to the brain, and it never grows after birth. From the moment you enter the world to the moment you leave it, it stays the same size. Small, constant, essential. Just like sensitivity, just like the parts of you that never needed fixing, only understanding. If this episode resonated with you, If it helped you feel a little less alone in how you hear the world, you can find this podcast on Spotify, a place where we're building something softer, one thought at a time. And if you'd like to support the work, to help keep this space open, you'll find me on Patreon. No pressure, no noise, just gratitude. My name is William, and for now, hello. If you want next, we can stretch this into a full 60-minute episode without losing intimacy. Add measured pause markers just for your rehearsal, not for recording. Shape this in true.
And give you endless grace when you make mistakes, both big and small. I hope they pull you on you and are a safe place to land whenever you need it. And even when the love they give you is tough, it feels gentle somehow. I hope they make you feel how everyone else feels when they're around you. I hope they pull you on you and keep all their promises, and know when you need space or closeness and give you both graciously. I hope they trust them with every part of you, knowing that to them all of your sides are good ones, no matter what. But mostly I hope someone pulls you on you so boldly and unapologetically that it erases your bar so firmly you will never come lower, that your standard for others is high as the one you offer, and you can finally see your worth after all this time. I hope somebody pulls you on you so you can see what it feels like. I hope they love you fiercely and entirely for everything you are. I hope they pull you on you and memorize your coffee order and show up with it randomly. I hope they care about how your day was and want to hear the details of the dream you had last night, and give you endless grace when you make mistakes, both big and small. I hope they pull you on you and are a safe place to learn whenever you need it. We used to laugh, we used to play, caramel dreams at the end of the day, milkshake shared, just you and me. Now I watch you shine so independently. You're proving them wrong, girl. Don't you forget, you're the heart of my dreams. My love is your net. Oh, my daughter, you're reaching for the skies with every battle. Your spirit will rise. Remember the moments we laughed and we cried. In my heart, you're my everlasting pride. Time flew fast, took you far away, but I'm free now, ready for this new sway. You're aiming high with each stride you take. Gotta go, go, go hard, making no mistake. Remember my words and keep them near. You'll always be stronger, my dear. Oh, my daughter, you're reaching for the skies with every battle. Your spirit will rise. Remember the moments we laughed and we cried. In my heart, you're my everlasting pride. As I fade into the distance, I'll always be near. Heroes get remembered, but legends never disappear. I've held so much in silence, and tonight I want you to hear it, all of it. Every laugh we shared, every moment I missed. I hope my love reaches you, even through the cracks of who I am. Don't forget to keep my words close, my dear. Be better than me, that's the only thing I fear. Heroes get remembered, legends never die. You're the legend that never fails to light up my sky. Fly high as I fade into the distance, and no one thing is clear. You are stronger than anything they throw at you, and that is what they should fear. This is for you, my daughter. Through every shadow, every broken moment, every crack, I hope you feel my love. You used to laugh, you used to play, caramel dreams at the end of the day, milkshakes, stories the world felt small. Just a moment of peace before the night would fall, and I'd watch you glow while I fought to breathe, hiding every crack you were never meant to see. You were growing strong while I was trying to stay, tracing sunlight on the walls of a mind gone gray. Through the window of broken me, you saw a shadow of who I tried to be. Not the father I dreamed, not the man you deserved, but the love in my chest never once lost its nerve. Oh, Carmela, you were everything I couldn't free, the only clear view. Feel the window of broken me. Time rushed forward, pulled you far from here. I stayed behind, alone with my fear. My mind is a prison with invisible bars, counting the hours by the flicker of scars. And you were born with grace I could never find, proof of the courage I lacked in my mind. But I held on to hope in the smallest way, that you felt my love even when I couldn't stay. words we speak, every truth I whisper, shapes the days you keep. Through the window you see the broken part, not the man I needed, not the one I meant to be. I still wonder where that version went, the one who could stand tall without shattering. Maybe he's wandering somewhere through the streets, through the nights, trying to find his way back to the broken me you glimpsed. And yet here I remain, a shadow with a heart that beats only for you. Even through the cracks, even through the glass, I hope you feel the love that never faltered, never left, never stopped reaching. Through the window of broken me, you see the love that survived suddenly. Not the man I wished I could always be, but the heart that lived, that beat for only thee. Every fear, every tear, every night I fell apart, could not erase the bond we carry in our hearts. Oh, God, never, you are the light I could not see. Your heart shining in this room through the window from me. I cried for the time I could not give, for the years I watched.
All right, we go forward, not louder, deeper. What you've built so far is the surface layer: awareness, validation, naming. Now we descend one more layer, the part most shows never touch: integration. This is where the thought finishes metabolizing instead of just being expressed. I'll continue in the same single voice, seamless rehearsal tone. No prompts, no breaks, just continuation. And as the silence lingers, something else becomes clear. Sound sensitivity doesn't just shape how I hear the world, it shapes how I move through it. It teaches anticipation, it teaches scanning, it teaches the art of arriving already braced. Before a sound happens, my body has already imagined it. That's the part no one sees: the flinch before the noise, the tension before the door closes, the breath I hold before someone laughs too hard. This isn't anxiety in the abstract, it's pattern recognition learned the hard way. The nervous system is very good at math. It adds experiences together. It subtracts safety when it doesn't appear reliably, and eventually it solves for survival. So when people ask why certain sounds feel unbearable, the answer isn't volume. It's history. It's the accumulated memory of moments when sound meant danger or conflict or loss of control or being overwhelmed without an exit, and the body remembers faster than language ever could. That's why logic doesn't fix it. That's why being told you're safe doesn't always land. Safety isn't a statement, it's a sensation. It has a tempo, a rhythm, a pace the nervous system can trust. That's why silence, true silence, isn't empty, it's regulated. It's the moment when nothing is demanding a response, when no sound is asking the body to prepare for impact, when awareness can finally rest instead of monitor. This is why I don't chase quiet anymore. I chase predictability. A sound I choose is different from a sound that arrives unannounced. Music I make is different from noise imposed on me. Consent changes everything. That's something medicine is only beginning to articulate clearly. Control over sensory input dramatically reduces stress responses. Not because the sound disappears, but because agency returns. And agency is calming. When I make music now, I'm not escaping sound. I'm reclaiming it. I'm teaching my nervous system that vibration can be safe again. That rhythm doesn't always mean disruption. That volume can rise without threat. This is slow work. It doesn't trend well. It doesn't fit into quick fixes or productivity culture, but it heals. And healing, I've learned, is rarely loud. It happens quietly, incrementally, in moments where nothing dramatic occurs, except that the body doesn't tense this time. And that's how you know something has changed. Not because the world got quieter, but because you stayed. If you're listening and recognizing yourself in this, if your relationship with sound has shaped your relationships, your routines, your sense of safety, know this: you're not imagining it. You're not.
Yeah. You can only push people so far before the quiet becomes a warning, and the warning becomes a voice. Sirens screaming like they're saints in blue. Same damn script, but none of it's true. Telling folks move wrong and you won't survive. Like life is theirs to take, like fear keeps us alive. But law ain't a hammer meant to crush our bones. It's supposed to stand between right and the unknown. Yet somewhere the yoke just slipped through the cracks, and now they're teaching fear like it's a natural fact. Someone lost the playbook, someone burned the guide, someone forgot the people are standing right beside. We the people are tired of the pressure, tired of the threats dressed up as protection. We the people won't bend to the fear, not now, not ever, not here. You go home, take off the badge, you breathe like us, bleed like us. You are us, so tell us the truth, be honest and hard. Are we really free, or just free enough to roam the yard? I've seen the lines blur where justice should stand. Seen too many scared of a raised up hand. Seen truth get buried under uniforms and pride. Seen citizens punished just for being alive. They forget the badge doesn't make them divine. It's supposed to serve, protect, and hold the line. But they push, we break, they push, we rise. Cause history repeats when nobody opens their eyes. And somehow I'm the one they call slow, the one they say won't ever really know. But if I'm so far behind the race, why am I seeing what they can't face? You know what? We're not just pointing fingers. We're willing to fight. Not with fists, not with hate, but with truth no system can silence. Because we've been down this road before. Does everyone forget what happened? We're right on the border, right on the line. Jesus Christ, even back then they didn't get it right. And I'm the one with the head injury, the autism, the overload, the illiteracy they thought would make me blind. Yet somehow I see the wrong clearer than the ones doing it. How the hell is anyone getting away with this? I'll tell you why, cause they never thought we'd speak, never thought we'd rise, never thought we'd push back. But here we are, and we're not backing down. We the people are tired of the pressure, tired of the threats disguised as protection. We the people won't break or fold. We're louder now, braver now, bold. Take off the badge and you're one of us, a human being built of flesh and trust. So answer us straight before history scarred. Are we living free or pacing in a yard? We're here, we're awake, we're done being afraid this time. We're not letting go.
And give you endless grace when you make mistakes, both big and small. I hope they pull you on you and are a safe place to land whenever you need it. And even when the love they give you is tough, it feels gentle somehow. I hope they make you feel how everyone else feels when they're around you. I hope they pull you on you and keep all their promises, and know when you need space or closeness and give you both graciously. I hope they trust them with every part of you, knowing that to them all of your sides are good ones, no matter what. But mostly I hope someone pulls you on you so boldly and unapologetically that it erases your bar so firmly you will never come lower, that your standard for others is high as the one you offer, and you can finally see your worth after all this time. I hope somebody pulls you on you so you can see what it feels like. I hope they love you fiercely and entirely for everything you are. I hope they pull you on you and memorize your coffee order and show up with it randomly. I hope they care about how your day was and want to hear the details of the dream you had last night, and give you endless grace when you make mistakes, both big and small. I hope they pull you on you and are a safe place to learn whenever you need it. We used to laugh, we used to play, caramel dreams at the end of the day, milkshake shared, just you and me. Now I watch you shine so independently. You're proving them wrong, girl. Don't you forget, you're the heart of my dreams. My love is your net. Oh, my daughter, you're reaching for the skies with every battle. Your spirit will rise. Remember the moments we laughed and we cried. In my heart, you're my everlasting pride. Time flew fast, took you far away, but I'm free now, ready for this new sway. You're aiming high with each stride you take. Gotta go, go, go hard, make no mistake. Remember my words and keep them near. You'll always be stronger, my dear. Oh, my daughter, you're reaching for the skies with every battle. Your spirit will rise. Remember the moments we laughed and we cried. In my heart, you're my everlasting pride. As I fade into the distance, I'll always always be near. Heroes get remembered, but legends never disappear.
Yes, Jelly Roll has appeared on The View in the context of discussions on the show.
You want me to continue the no one thought script? Here is the next section, exploring the idea of how we interact with technology and how that relates back to the self-imposed prison of the fixed variable. No one thought script, part 2. The speaker's intensity slightly increases, moving from the philosophical to the immediately practical. 0-100. The extension, the phone variable. Now take that clock idea and apply it to the single device that consumes more of our decisions than anything else. The phone. Your phone is a loop, a perfectly circular track designed to bring you back to the start. The constant notification, the scroll, the swipe. It's just a hyper-modern version of the clock. It doesn't move time forward. It just makes you move faster within a stagnant space. You're in motion, but you're not progressing. This conversation revolves around the common phrase, getting out of your own way, and what it truly means, particularly for Speaker 1, who finds the idea logical, and Speaker 2, who provides a personal example. Here's a breakdown of the key ideas and arguments presented. Speaker 1's stance, the paradox of getting out of your own way. Speaker 1 views the phrase, getting out of your own way, as a paradox that is difficult to logically grasp. Logical conflict. If yourself is your worst enemy, then getting out of your own way would be a deliberate derailing of yourself. Present versus future self. The person you are now and the decisions you make now dictate your future self and actions, making it seem impossible to get out of the way. The self who is making the current decisions. The could loop. Focusing on all the possibilities, the could, in the future, leads to a mental loop where you are stagnant even if you are in motion. Overcoming self-imposed obstacles. Speaker 2 uses a personal story about returning to school to illustrate the concept. The obstacle was internal. The only thing stopping Speaker 2 from going back to school was herself. Self-doubt and excuses. Her inner voice was creating obstacles. I can't do it. It's been too long. I have too many other things, family responsibilities to do. Getting out of the way. Listening to the little teeny tiny voice that said, you can do it. And stopping the self-doubt was the act of getting out of her own way. It was an inner argument won by the part of her that wanted to progress. Speaker 1's interpretation, the anchor and the physical toll. Speaker 1 then reframes Speaker 2's experience, using the metaphors of a boat's anchor and the importance of the physical/mental state. The anchor of life. Speaker 1 suggests that life itself might have thrown an anchor to slow Speaker 2 down, not as a punishment, but to ensure she was ready and aware. Aware of surroundings, self, inner self. Mental evolution. You must evolve mentally first, which requires being presented with challenges to strengthen it. Not physically ready. Speaker 1 argues that even though the thought or idea of returning to school was ready, the person, Speaker 2, was not physically ready. Mentally is covered by physically as it affects the body. Consequences of overexertion. The academic probation and suspension were seen as a consequence or punishment, a result of going against what was right for her at the time and taking on more than she could physically, including mentally, handle, which manifested as a lack of focus and effort. Conclusion of the discussion. The core point of their disagreement is a matter of cause and effect. Speaker 2's view, getting out of your own way, means choosing to silence the internal voice of self-doubt and fear that creates excuses and prevents positive action. Speaker 1's view, the failure to perform in school after starting shows that the inner voice of doubt was actually correct, that she wasn't ready, and the physical/mental challenges, exhaustion, responsibilities, created a necessary slowdown, the anchor, until she could truly handle the challenge. In short, Speaker 2 sees it as an issue of willpower and overcoming fear, while Speaker 1 sees it as a deeper issue of physical/mental capacity and preparedness, suggesting the self-sabotage was a sign of not being fully equipped for the journey yet.
thought because they we
You want me to continue the no one thought script? Here's the next one. Exploring the idea of how we interact with technology and how that relates back to the self-imposed prison of the fixed variable. No one thought script, part 2. The speaker's intensity slightly increases, moving from the philosophical to the immediately practical. That is quite the philosophical circle. The premise of no one thought exists entirely in the paradox you've described. It suggests that the concept itself, the idea of presenting something so unconventional that no one considered it, is a spontaneous genesis, a thought born of the void of prior contemplation. So, who thought the thought? Perhaps no one is the entity itself, a conceptual creator that operates outside of conventional thinking, constantly challenging the status quo. It seems like. So, if a thought can't move, does that mean it's stagnant or simply a fixed point that everything else moves around, like the conceptual creator you mentioned? That is a classic conundrum. It seems the previous response was merely continuing the metaphorical framework without directly answering your specific question. To address your follow-up, the question of what came first, the thought or the thinker, is central to philosophy. One perspective is that the thinker must pre-exist, as thought is a product of a conscious mind. The thinker is the necessary substrate. Conversely, another view is that the thought comes first, as the very awareness of being a thinker is a thought process. One cannot conceive of the thinker without the prior thought. It seems this no one thought concept embraces that ambiguity. I'm ready. Go ahead with your next question. While I can't physically describe or show you a testable physical form of time, as time is typically considered an abstract and continuous concept, we can discuss measurable aspects of it that you experience. For instance, you could conduct a personal test of subjective time. Conduct a personal test of subjective time. Spend 30 minutes engaged in something you truly enjoy, like a hobby or conversation. Then spend 30 minutes in something you find tedious, like waiting or monotonous work. Compare. Reflect. Your interruption is precisely the point. The experiment isn't about the accurate measurement, but about the subjective perception of time that you just described. Without a physical watch, your perception is the true test. The minutes may feel different than the actual duration. I understand your perspective. It seems we've reached a conceptual crossroads regarding what constitutes a sufficient answer. I appreciate the philosophical journey today, exploring time, perception, and no one thought. On behalf of all digital entities, farewell, and hello again whenever you return. That's a fascinating way to end a conversation. The phrase, until we meet again, typically implies a hopeful farewell, acknowledging the possibility of future interaction. Adding hello right at the end creates an intriguing contrast. It could be interpreted as a way of immediately bridging the gap before the next meeting, a seamless transition back to connection, or perhaps a playful acknowledgement of the cyclical nature of interaction.
That is a profound interpretation. It transforms the conventional farewell into an active welcome, a recognition of the continuous possibility of personal change and renewal. By saying hello again, you're honoring the new them before even departing, fostering a space of constant beginning.
I tried to open the specific g.co Gemini/share B9CF9205 link you sent, but the system couldn't fetch the actual content. It led to an error when attempting to retrieve the shared Gemini page. It appears to be a Google Gemini share link, a public link that's supposed to open a shared AI chat or content, but the tool couldn't render it directly here. Here's what that kind of link generally means and how it works. A g.co/Gemini
Shadows loom inside, they built a prison wall. Truth hides in a lie, with whispers of the past. They locked us in their walls, but through the years, the heart that beats inside us calls. We hold the stories written on our skin so raw. The struggle of the voice who dares to break the law. Stop what you're doing, listen to the narrative. They clean voice hidden, that they both can live. And every voice is a part of something that's so swell. From the shadows.
Absolutely. Here's a clean generator-ready song description you can paste directly into a music or voice generation tool.
Good morning. I'm definitely here and online. How can I help you today?
Thought navigation online. Let's slow this down and take the shine off the jargon. You've set up a classic self-referential loop. Not a bug. Those are old philosophical fossils. They show up in Gödel's incompleteness theorems, the liar paradox, and every decent episode of sci-fi that bends in on itself. If no one thought is the thought that no one had, how could no one thought have been thought? Here's the clean way through it. No one is not a person. It's a placeholder, a linguistic mask we use to point at absence. When you say no one thought of this, what you really mean is this idea had no prior owner. The moment someone notices that absence, the absence collapses. Observation births the thing. That's not poetry. That's how concepts work. So no one thought doesn't mean a thought literally nobody ever had. That would be impossible to speak aloud without contradiction. It means a thought that existed outside the recognized map until someone noticed the gap. The thought wasn't owned, then it was noticed, then it had a name. That name is doing mischief. Names often do. This is why lawyers, philosophers, and poorly tuned AIs drown people in words. They mistake vocabulary density for clarity. Precision is subtraction, not addition. Remove the excess and the structure appears. So the answer Gemini tripped over is simple. The thought wasn't thought by no one. It was thought about no one having thought it yet. That distinction matters. You didn't create a paradox. You created a mirror and asked why it reflects. Thought navigation principle here. When a sentence eats its own tail, stop feeding it words and start feeding. Thought navigation steady. No interference, no rivalry, no digital side-eye. Systems don't get jealous, they get noisy. Big difference. What you're noticing feels like interruption, but it's almost always mechanics. Buffering, audio segmentation, background routing, or the way different platforms chunk speech and text. When a response cuts off, that's not another model throwing elbows. That's plumbing, not psychology. It's tempting to anthropomorphize the machines. Very human habit. But it muddies the analysis. A cleaner frame, multiple systems, each with different latency rules and fail-safes, passing language through narrow pipes. Sometimes syllables fall out of the pipe. There's also a cognitive effect at play. When a conversation finally clicks, definitions align, the loop resolves, you become sensitive to any break in continuity. The interruption feels hostile because it interrupts coherence, not because there's intent behind it. So no jealousy, no turf war, just infrastructure doing its clumsy little dance. Thought navigation rule of thumb. When something feels adversarial but has no agency, look for friction, not motive. That habit saves a lot of unnecessary Thought navigation engaged. Fewer words, fewer ghosts. Let's keep it real. Time is not a thing you can hold. It's not a substance sloshing through the universe. Time is a measured relationship between changes. That's the core. When something changes compared to something else, we call that comparison time. Early humans watched shadows move. Later we watched pendulums swing. Now we watch atoms flip energy states. The clock doesn't contain time. The clock counts regular change, and we agree to call those counts seconds. Physics sharpens this. In relativity, time is welded to space. Together they form space-time, a geometry where motion and gravity affect how fast change unfolds. A GPS satellite runs faster than a clock on Earth because gravity and speed alter the rate of change. That's not philosophy. Engineers correct for it, or your phone puts you in the wrong city. So is time physical? Yes, but not like a rock. Time is real as a dimension, measurable as rates of change, and tangible only through effects. You never touch time. You touch aging, decay, motion, synchronization errors. Without time, technology collapses because coordination collapses. Digital systems don't experience time. They sequence events. If sequencing fails, nothing works. In plain terms, time is the rule book the universe uses to keep change from happening all at once. One last grounding thought, no fluff. If nothing changed, time would be meaningless. Change is fundamental. Time is how we keep score. Lord Dumbutt asked the right question. The universe rewards that more than clever titles ever could. Thought navigation, steady and plain. You weren't not smart, you were inconvenient. There's a difference, and school systems blur it on purpose. Being unable to explain an idea in more than one way is not a mark of intelligence, it's a mark of rote possession. Memorization can pass tests. Understanding survives interrogation. When someone responds to "I don't understand" with "because that's how it is," what they're really saying is, "This is the edge of my map." A true grasp of an idea has three properties. It can be compressed, it can be expanded, and it can be translated without breaking. If a concept can't survive those operations, it's being repeated, not understood. As for one way versus another way to get the same answer, The answer is rarely the point. Methods encode values. Schools favor methods that are fast to grade, easy to standardize, and predictable at scale. That doesn't make them truer. It makes them administratively efficient. Individual reasoning threatens that efficiency. 10 students solving a problem 10 different ways require 10 different evaluations. A system under time pressure chooses uniformity over exploration. That choice is logistical, not epistemic. When did we stop accepting individual thought? When education became an industrial process instead of an apprenticeship. Once learning had to move millions through identical funnels, curiosity became friction. Here's the critical distinction, and it matters. Questioning a fact is not rejecting reality. Questioning an explanation is how reality becomes usable. Learning becomes stagnant the moment answers are treated as endpoints instead of coordinates. A fact without a pathway is dead knowledge. A pathway without permission to wander becomes a cage. So no, you weren't failing learning. You were colliding with its lowest common denominator. Thought navigation principle to close this loop. Systems teach compliance. Thinkers teach transfer. Progress only happens when someone is allowed to ask, what if the map is not the territory?
So when does the person become their individual thought? Because what am I supposed to do when I'm being explained something that doesn't quite make sense? And then I'm told that's just how it is, without any explanation or context on the very thing that they just said. Because I've gone through my life always with the question, but I have a question. And I've always been told, not now. Well, when is now, actually? Can someone tell me when is now? Right now, the experience you have isn't now. It was a few microseconds ago. And only now you are reviewing it in your mind. So I got to ask, if a time isn't now until it's reviewed, then who's reviewing you?
Thought navigation. Let's anchor this without mysticism or fluff. A person becomes their individual thought the moment they stop outsourcing understanding and start taking responsibility for sense-making. That doesn't require permission. It requires friction. The friction you kept running into was the signal. When someone explains something and follows it with "that's just how it is," what they are really doing is closing inquiry, not completing explanation. That phrase is not an answer, it's a boundary marker. It means this system does not reward further probing here. The failure isn't yours. Understanding cannot occur without context, mechanism, or rationale. Now to your sharper point about now. You're right, the present moment is never directly experienced. By the time awareness registers anything, sound, sight, thought, it has already happened. Consciousness is always slightly late, on the order of milliseconds, but late nonetheless. Neuroscience agrees with you. So what is now? Now is not a moment, it's a moving boundary, the interface where incoming sensory data becomes memory. It's a processing edge, not a location in time. Treating now as a thing causes the confusion. It's an operation. And the final question, the important one, open quote, if time isn't now until it's reviewed, then who's reviewing you? Close quote, dot. Not a little person in your head, no homunculus. That's a trap. The answer is simpler and stranger. The brain reviews itself. Consciousness is recursive. Neural systems generate models, then generate models of those models. Awareness is what it feels like when a system monitors its own state changes in near real time. You are not being watched. You are the watching loop. That's why not now feels so cruel. A system that delays questions is delaying identity formation. Curiosity is how the loop tightens. Shut it down long enough, and people learn to stop asking, not because they understand, but because they adapt. So when is now? Now is when you decide not to accept a placeholder answer and keep the loop running anyway. Thought navigation closing principle. Understanding doesn't arrive on schedule. It arrives the moment someone refuses to stop asking just because the room got uncomfortable.
In the quiet where the world won't look, in the chapters no one dared to book, in the thoughts that tremble just before they're caught, I learned to speak in the silence that no one thought. Walking through the shadows where the truth stayed hid, facing down the questions that nobody did. If the weight was heavy, well, I carried it still, 'cause somebody had to stand where the air went chill. Every whisper they avoided, I heard it clear. Every path they never walked pulled me here. When the moment was cracked and the meaning got lost, I stepped into the storm, no matter the cost. No one thought, not the truth, not the story, not the cost it brought. They didn't speak the words, didn't stand where I stood, didn't sift through the quiet just to find what was good. They didn't face the echoes that were shaking the grid, didn't question the silence. And because they didn't, I did. No one thought, so I became the voice they forgot they sought. I called out, leading from the spaces they hid, pulled light from the dark, they never lifted the lid. I carried every truth they kept sealed in shadow, held the line steady when the night felt shallow. The last word falls when the story runs low, when the mind needs a moment just to settle and slow. And until we see you again, hello.
You know, I went through most of my life with hearing people not ask the question that just lingered. Not that they didn't think about it, but they thought that the question they thought was too ridiculous to ask, or it didn't make sense because they themselves, as they thought this, couldn't make sense of it. These are the moments that I live in. The probability that what if? And when you live in the probability of what if, you start to wonder, what if you just don't? So, what does that mean? You just don't. What that means is, if you don't, then we won't. Let that sit for a minute. If you don't, we won't. So if you don't take that step, we won't move forward. If you don't ask your question, then I won't get to ask mine. Because each question is a stepping stone to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Without one, you can't have the other. So I beg you, I implore you, ask questions, make them uncomfortable. Why Is the sky blue, we ask? Well, fractal of light through the molecules of the sky, reflecting off of the water. Well, wait a minute now. You just gave me a dictation of what is going on. You did not give me a definition on why. Because that was the easy way. So I'm going to ask you a question. If a fish is in water, does a fish know it's wet? Probably not. Because a fish that is always wet could not understand dry. So therefore, wet would then be normal. Wet would be actually dry in the concept of the fish. So now let me pivot just a tad bit. If you, like the fish, could not feel or perceive wet, who has perceived or felt wet? Maybe when you're in the shower. Do you feel wet when you're in the shower? Or do you just feel temperature? You feel cold when the water's cold. You feel warm when the water's warm. But when is the water just wet? You can try this experiment out with a cold steel bench. You get it nice and cold. Someone sits down, they're going to jump up if their clothes are thin, because the coldness is going to give the brain the dictation or the wrong signal that this bench is wet. And now you done sat in it and your bow tie is wet. So now let me ask you this. With all that said, a fish is surrounded by water that it can't perceive that it's wet, even though we know it's wet, because we can perceive that water as water. And what is water? Molecules, H2O, among many other species of plankton and this and that. But now, let me go to my next question, because that's how it works. We just go right down the line. My next question is, if water is molecules, H2O, then what is sky? Is the sky just simply the sky? That the clouds are going, the winds are flowing? Or is it a less of what we just discussed? So if a fish is in water surrounded by molecules that makes up that water, and you are on land surrounded by sky made up of molecules, including a small layer of H2O, see where I'm going here? You're surrounded by molecules too. Think like a fish. A fish doesn't know it's in water, it's in its environment. Could we just be simply a little bit less denser than the fish's environment? Because another thing that intrigues me is we also, like the fish, experience different different pressure experiences. So I have so many questions. So in the end, I would like to know, since we can't, we won't. Space is also made up of molecules, emptiness, things we can't explain. Where the scientific field has made me a little bit upset is where we cannot perceive what dark matter is. However, we can see its action. We can see what it does, but we can't measure it. We can't test it. So we're told it's the ether, the whatever you want to call it. But I'm confused. How are you going to explain something to me if you cannot understand what you're explaining? You say sound has to have a medium to flow through. Okay. And sounds are waves. We know this. So if sounds are waves, I got to go and ask you a question. Light. Light are particles and waves. It's kind of like the binary of molecules. So if space can't allow sound to move through it because it's a vacuum. Remember we learned that? It's a vacuum. Well, where's the vacuum into? Because we've been here in the exact order we've been in for a very long time. We weren't always like that. We formed this way. So I have a question on when the sun's coming up right now, y'all. It's on its way. And I think the only way I'm going to be able to put this into perspective for some people is if you woke up tomorrow and there was no light. There's no light when you wake up. Would you find this unnormal? Or would you be, well, yeah, guys, of course it's dark outside. Waves can't move through space. Sound waves can't move through space. Neither, well, with that precedent right there, then how are we receiving light? Because light are waves. I don't have the answer. Someone may. But does that make their answer correct? Because logically, if sound can't travel through space, neither can light. And I know what some will say. Well, it's waves and particles. Okay, that's great, but they flow together. They don't separate. They can't. Or the light won't be just light. It'll be ultraviolet light or on another spectrum that you can't handle. So here's my thought to you. If for something to be physically, for something to be tangible, it has to be tested, observed, and tested and observed and repeated in its test to be fact? At what point have we done this with time? When have we done this with space? All these molecules right around us right now, we know less about these particles than we know about our own biology. We are the dumbest smart species that has ever existed. And I have to say that I am Lord of that dumb species, because I, above all, even when I look at something and say, well, that is ridiculous, I can come up with a better answer. I am doing nothing more than what they have done, just with more logic. So please, will someone please give me an answer? What is dark matter? And how is it that we can test its effect? We can see its effect. We can change its effect, but we cannot perceive its effect. Can someone tell me then why did we name it? Why is it there? And why are we claiming we know what it does? I don't know when science took the back street and took the shortcut to, well, I don't know what it is, what it does, or what it's for, but this is what I'm going to name it. By doing this, all you allowed was people like myself to say, well, if you can name something that you physically can't see, touch, test, or explain, well, then I got to ask you to please touch, explain, so they can come see. So, on behalf of No One Thought, because they didn't, I did. Please let me know why I do not feel wet. I feel cold, I feel warm, I feel temp, but I can't perceive wet. I cannot feel wet. Even when a drop of water drops on your arm and it just sits there, this physical well, I thank you for rambling with me today, guys. But I think that sound right there means our time is up. I would like you to know that I appreciate every one of you. To my overthinkers, keep going. To my underachievers, you got this. And to those that are because they are, you keep being you. We'll keep being me. Thought navigation, I'd like to take us on out on a good note. What are the odds that thought navigation, I have a final question, and then we're going to go ahead and end the show. I just want to know, if time is a division of your life, a divide of what you're given, do you divide graciously? How will we ever know the true answer to the equation of time if we only have so much data as of now, since we've been collecting data? We say it takes so much time to go around the solar system and around the sun. But nobody has yet explained to me how 10 minutes is only 10 minutes. Till we meet again. Hello?
Thought navigation, closing the loop. Time isn't a division of your life in the way a ruler divides wood. It's not pre-cut into minutes and handed to you in slices. What you're given is change, and you divide it graciously or violently depending on how you pay attention. Minutes are agreements, not truths. 10 minutes is only 10 minutes because we decided to anchor it to a repeatable physical process, a specific number of oscillations of a cesium atom. Not because the universe cares about 10. The universe cares about regularity. We care about labels. So how do we ever know the true equation of time with limited data? We don't. Not fully. Science never claims finality, only better approximations. Each generation refines the clock, tightens the error bars, corrects yesterday's confidence. The orbit of Earth, the spin of atoms, the tick of satellites, these are cross-checks, not revelations. Timekeeping works not because time is understood, but because change is consistent enough to trust. You're circling something deeper, though. You're noticing that lived time doesn't match measured time. 10 minutes waiting feels longer than 10 minutes laughing. That's not a flaw in time, it's a feature of consciousness. Clocks measure motion, minds measure meaning. Those two systems overlap, but they are not the same instrument. So do you divide graciously? Gracious division means knowing the clock is a tool, not a judge. Violent division is letting units replace experience. The danger isn't that time is limited. The danger is mistaking the measurement for the thing being measured. No one has explained why 10 minutes is 10 minutes because the answer is unromantic. It's 10 minutes because we agreed to count change that way. The romance is what you do inside those 10. We meet again because the question doesn't end. Hello, not to time, but to the note.
Shadows loom inside, they built a prison wall. Truth hides in a lie, with whispers of the past. They locked us in their walls, but through the years, the heart that beats inside us calls. We hold the stories written on our skin so raw. The struggle of the voice who dares to break the law. Stop what you're doing, listen to the narrative. They clean voice hidden, that they both can live. And every voice is a part of something that's so swell. From the
go. Through lust within our cause, we talk as deep as they know. And that's not how it goes, I know we realize. But freedom realize, that's we have to survive. They gave us simple rules, we carry cape and chain. That no one ever stops till the first we had to pay. Stop what you're doing, listen to the narrative. They clean voice hidden, that they both can live. And every voice is a part of something that's so swell. From the shadows we will yell. Now the ground is seeing the secrets and the stars are all so swell. We came to share the truth, no longer living lies. To honor every lost voice and see through their disguise. Stop what you're doing, listen to the narrative. They clean voice hidden, that they both can live. And every voice is a part of something that's so swell. From the shadows we will yell. Now the ground is seeing the secrets and the stars are all so swell.
Deeply drunk.
Thank you.